Years ago, when I was recovering my burnout and I was going from like this deathly state and into more liveliness and smiley, my hair growing back and skin sores going away, I was still coaching people in the workforce while I was trying to figure out, what do I want to do with this business? Do I want to go back into the workforce, into human resources? What am I going to do with my life now that I actually have energy and health back? And it was interesting because some people I was coaching, they were seeing me get better and more lively and more smiley. And I remember encouraging one of the emerging leaders to really step into something that I knew that he could handle. He had all the tools for the job. And he said, I can't do what you do, Kelly. I can't be organized and confident stepping into this conversation and have all my stuff together, as he said. And things were not good in my personal life at that time. Things were not good at home. I was trying to figure out what to do with my business, what to do for income. My life was not great. And he thought I was way up here. And I tried to share as much of my story on stage and within these programs, but there's pieces of it that I don't want to share on mass scale in large groups, because we can go down rabbit holes and we just don't have that amount of time in these programs. Someone suggested to me, what if you started vlogging how you're utilizing these tools in your personal life? Because I'm just like you. I'm in the working class. I'm a busy working parent. I have relationships that aren't great. I have relationships that are great. I'm using these tools that I'm presenting to you in all these different videos in my own navigation towards energy, and it's gotten me to really great places, but I haven't had an avenue really to talk about it. So I'm starting a small vlog series in which we're going to keep it short and sweet, to the point, so that you can gain time back in your day and you can utilize some of these tools, just like me, to gain back energy. So, just to kick off this series, I'm going to talk about what happened in September and how I utilize the tools. In future episodes, I'm going to go back to that dark place that I was sitting in and talk about some tools that I used to pick me back up, to get back to this fast paced world and be able to navigate it with a little bit more resiliency armor. So, in the month of September, it was really busy. Kids started their school year off. I have a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old, so a lot going on there. And then I also stepped into more of the professional speaking realm. Now that I went down to one job instead of navigating two jobs, I was able to focus on my growth there. So the first thing that I did, was use the core compass. So the core compass is at the center of this workforce energy management model. The energy management model is about taking teams from this exhaustion back to excellence. But at the core is an individual core factor that's going to drive your days, drive your energy. And you'll hear me reference this in the vlog over and over again, because it's what I have really navigated myself out of this darkness and societal expectations, and trying to get back to healthy boundaries and just health in general. And the core focus of it is, what's the story? Who's your character and actions in play? And when you use this to navigate, what choice do I want to make? How do I want to respond to this person? How do I want to respond to this moment? It can bring a lot of clarity in your days. So I'm going to leave this up as I talk about the 3 big growth moments in September. Some are very visual and accepting, and then some are more private and personal, in which we don't talk about as a growth moment. And sometimes people talk about it as a hurdle or holdback moment, but I see it as growth. So I want to change your mindset there. So the first thing is stepping into professional speaking. I've been professional speaking on Burnout for about 2 years, but I have never gotten training. I haven't had time to even practice a lot of my material because I was working 2 jobs and busy mom life, and all the things I'm going to be talking about in this vlog will be coming out on, like, how did you step out there, because I'm shocked at myself even when I say that. So I was able to join National Speaker Association and the Wisconsin chapter where I live, and start going to these events in which you're working alongside 10-year big time speakers on storytelling, and how do you get your message out there, and how do you get it received by all different types of audience members so that it's an inclusive experience. How do you make a business out of it so you can continue speaking, because I would love to do this for free, but I also have to pay the bills and feed 3 kids. So how do you do it and make money off of it? Providing value. It's always focused on your message and your value, which I love that premise. So I was able to highlight one of their programs, which is called Speaker Lab, and it takes emerging speakers, speakers that just want to fine tune their message, and usually it's a private setting. You talk for about a half hour, and they critique you within that half hour. Well, they wanted to highlight this program, so at their first event in September, they asked me if I wanted to do a mock speaker lab and just take like 15 minutes, work on some material, and have some of our very tenure, very experienced changemaker speakers critique my speech. If you've ever been in front of a bunch of people speaking, it's already very anxious. You have that fear coming in. It's literally ranked number 2 behind death as people's biggest fear is public speaking. But doing it in a room full of like 40-ish professional speakers that know what you're doing, know what you're trying to hit, it was so nerve-wracking. But I was like, if I don't do it, when am I going to do it? So I did it, and I was critiqued by 3 very talented change makers in the industry. Their message and stories just bring you to tears within like 5 minutes. They're very good at their craft and their skill set. So I got feedback from them. So that was my first growth moment in September is I'm going to use this core compass. What's the story? And my story needs to be heard because I was that lonely person in the darkness as a high performer who hit rock bottom. That's like, what is happening to me? And no one's talking about it. No one's talking about burnout. And when I started talking about it, people started flocking to it. And I realized I am not alone. And so that's why I do what I do. It's not because I love going out in public speaking and I love talking about all the trauma of burnout. It's because I was that lonely person that never heard the B word, burnout. And everything made sense. And I was able to guide myself out of the darkness once I heard the word burnout. So, what's the story? It's the lonely working class person trying to figure this out. That's what guided me on this. Speaker lab, speaking in front of a bunch of professional speakers, that's the direction I'm going. That's the story I'm going to continue telling. So that guided me there. The second thing that happened in September, which was a growth moment, which is not seen as a growth moment in societal expectations and societal norms, is saying no. So I said no to some gigs that would have me flying out a bunch of places, which I do in moderation. But again, I have kids, so I don't want to miss all those activities and school happenings. I grew up as a 90s kid, and my parents didn't have flexible shifts and things like that, so I didn't get to see them very much. And when we did see them, we were running around places for our own activities or family gatherings. So it was a lot of chaos and not a lot of family time. So I'm not going to do that. As I raise my kids, I'm not home, all the time. I do fly out for gigs, but I'm not going to be flying every day of the week, missing everything. So with 3 kids, 9 and under, that juggle is real. And that reprioritization that I need to be home and focus and present is real. So the opportunities were super tempting to fly out for, but sometimes that greatest investment is in the people that call you their whole world, and that's really what matters right now. So who's my character? I'm mom first, and my business comes second, and I'm able to manage that pretty effectively. But in those moments where the shiny object and the shiny clients come in, you got to keep yourself in check. Who's your character? And that will keep you on the right path. So that's how I used the second part of the compass core in September. Now, as the month went on, I caught the head cold germs that my kids were bringing home from school. And after working 2 jobs the last 2 years, after a decade of burnout behaviors and hustling and just keep on going, rest does not come easy to me. So being sick and resting is not something that I can do easy. When people look at me and see hard, my hard things are the easy things for some people. I have a difficult time napping, resting, laying around. So the productivity guilt that I'll be talking about in this vlog series as it goes on, it was high. But I was able to keep myself in check and switch that to productivity time to recover so I can get back at it. and I was able to recover faster with sleep and rescheduling client calls to the next week and having intentional time for fresh air and sunshine. And so that goes into the actions in play that you see in this core is if I would have stuck to my hustle and grind that I do before I had to pick up the kids from school, I bet I would still be sick because it gets elongated when you can't rest and let your body fight the good fight. So actions in play fed my character. I'm gonna be productive, but my body needs this right now, so that I can continue my story. So do you see how all three are kind of feeding each other in this common core? The common core in the workforce energy management program is on the individual, and it's 100% in your control, which I love. And growth comes in all shapes and sizes. Some are public, like public speaking and practicing that, and some are private, like my fight with productivity guilt still today. But I write the story and I choose the character, and actions in play every day will feed those narratives into positive or negative outcomes. And um, the core of this workforce energy management model of what's the story, who's your character, and actions in play really guided me in September to keep me on the right path. And sometimes it wasn't an easy decision, but I definitely feel I feel really good at the end of the month, going through some of those struggles and guiding myself on the right path. So as we go through this vlog series and I talk about a little bit of the deeper, darker things that went on in my burnout recovery, some things that are going on in general in real time, and how these different tools that I have within these videos are helping me stay in the right direction, helping me guide to energy and avoid burnout. I hope that you can reflect on your own journey and where you're at today on how you can also utilize these tools to guide you from that zombie mode and back to liveliness, because your energy is power. And if you can stay intentional, if you can follow that energy, come back here and feel your journey with more tools. See what lies ahead, what these tools can provide you on your journey. And I hope to see you back here soon.